Hello everyone and welcome to the WCG for match 10 of the 2023 Australia Day T20 Big Bash, which sees the two teams in green battling it out for second spot in Group B as the 2019 champions Wet Up take on the Saggy Greens with a spot in the quarterfinals at stake. You can see on your screens now the Group B standings. Despite their loss in match 2, the six offenders have already qualified for the quarterfinals. And despite their win against the six offenders in match 6, a loss to Wet Up here for the Saggy Greens without gaining a bonus point will see them crash out on head-to-head record. The toss was conducted a few moments earlier, and it was Matt White, the Wet Up skipper, who won the toss, and they elected to bowl first. So as we take a look at both lineups for this crunch contest, Wet Up will be skippered by Matt White once again. He'll be joined by his right-hand man, Michael Johnson, with the 2019 champions being rounded out by Gavin Merrifield. It was an underwhelming performance in their opening match against the six offenders, and they'll need a better showing here. Now, as we take a look at the Saggy Greens lineup, who will be buoyed by their win against the six offenders in that third Super Over Classic in match 6, the side will be skippered by Tom Doy once again, with Troy Hayden and the hero from those Super Overs with the ball, Reece de Berg, rounding out the Saggy Greens lineup. And just before we get underway, we'd like to thank our major partner for this year's tournament, Better Beer, who have been fantastic since jumping on board. It's always a day for it here at the WCG. So a win for the Saggy Greens will see them top the group. However, a loss without a bonus point will prove fatal. Let's get it on. So it will be the skipper, Tom Doy, who will get this innings underway for the Saggy Greens. Got his side off to the ideal start in that run chase against the six offenders. Can he get them off to the start they need here? So it's going to be skipper v skipper first up, as White will go over the wicket here to Doy. Here he's in now. It's a typically quick start, but he's pushed this one down the leg side. So it's a wide to get things underway here for the Saggy Greens. So you feel that this will be a big battle here in the context of this 10th match. Both skippers are spiritual leaders for the respective sides. As White is in once again, it's a full delivery, and Doy gets a thick outside edge, and this flies onto the fence. So a nearly moment there for Wet Up. That was not far away. A nervy moment there for Tom Doy, as White will continue to him now in the opening over, and this one's slapped back down the ground, typically there from Doy, but it's well fielded off his own bowling there from White. So back-to-back dots here for White, who's cranking it up once again, as he'll continue again now to Doy. This one's another quick delivery, but it's a wide delivery, and it's another sundry added to the total. So the Saggy Greens 2 without loss here in the opening over. White just struggling a little bit here to find his radar in the opening over. He's in once again to Doy. It's a good delivery, but Doy gets this through away on the leg side for the first boundary of the contest. Oh, perhaps he just strayed there into Doy's pads, and he's been put away. 6 without loss. It's going to be Gavin Merrifield to bowl the second over of the innings. Here he's in now to Doy, and Doy gets a thick inside edge onto the fence, and he doesn't decide to take Matt White on there. So Group B is coming to the boil with a plethora of outcomes here still possible, as Merrifield will continue around the wicket here to Doy in the second over. Here he's in now, and Doy advances. It gets a top edge, but it lands safely as it spins into the fence and he moves through for a single. Well, perhaps a bit of luck there for Doy. That could have gone anywhere, but thankfully for the big man, it lands safely. The Saggy Greens 8 without loss, as Merrifield will continue around the wicket here to Doy, and he's banged this one in short. Oh, but Doy's got a bottom edge, and he's dragged it back onto the stumps. Can you believe it? The big man can't, but the Saggy Greens are one down. Oh, he got away with the previous one, but not that one. Well, a big moment there for Wet Up, as that wicket now brings Troy Hayden to the crease at number 2. Could only manage one run against the six offenders in match 6, and the Bottle Green supporters will be hoping he can stand up here. So it's going to be Michael Johnson to bowl the third over of the innings, as he's in now to Hayden, and this one goes over the fence, but I think you'll find this has hit the trailing leg of Hayden and gone over. Here, let's have a look. Oh yeah, fancy. The Saggy Greens 1 for 8 in the third. As Johnson will continue again now to Hayden, who plays his way to mid-wicket. And that's well fielded there by Gavin Merrifield, who gets up quickly and tries to throw down the stumps. And judging by the reaction of Johnson and White, this would have been tight. He gets up quickly after fielding. Oh, from that angle, he was gone. So Johnson is in for the final ball of the third over. And now over the wicket hit to Hayden, and this one hits him on the body, and he's going to scramble through for a leg bye to end with. 1 for 10 with 1 to go. So it's going to be the skipper, Matt White, to bowl the final over of the innings. He's in now to Hayden, and Hayden gets this down the ground for a boundary to start with. That is just what the doctor ordered for the Saggy Greens. They're going to want a few more of them, but that's a good start to this final over. So Troy Hayden moves along to 5. As White continues to him now in the final over, and he gets this away on the leg side, and he scoots through for a single. It's well fielded again by Merrifield, who this time throws down the stumps, but Hayden is in safely this time around. So they move along to 1 for 15 in the final over. They're going to want to find a boundary a few more times at least here to get themselves up to a competitive target. As White is in once again to Hayden, who gets this through the leg side for another boundary. Standing up in this final over is Hayden. A rare commodity seeing White go to the boundary, and it's happened twice this over. So the Saggy Greens 1 for 19 as White is in for the penultimate ball of the innings, and this one's been popped up by Troy Hayden and it's been safely caught by Michael Johnson. So his cameo comes to an end. They could be 10 important runs when everything's said and done. But the Saggy Greens 2 for 19 with 1 ball remaining. So the Wet Up will be hoping they can keep this under 20, as that wicket now brings Reece de Burgh to the crease, the last man in for Saggy Greens. Dismissed for a golden duck in their win against the 6 offenders. Can he get one away to the boundary here? So it's White to go around the wicket to de Burgh for the final delivery of the innings. Here there's an appeal here from Wet Up, it's been given out. So it's back-to-back golden ducks for Reece de Burgh in the tournament. White picks up his second wicket. It's a faint edge through to the keeper, and Wet Up will have to be happy with their efforts with the ball. So not the greatest display with the bat on this occasion from the Saggy Greens, as they have been bowled out for 19 on the last delivery of the innings. Matt White, the skipper, picking up 2 for 15 off his 2 overs. Troy Hayden top scoring with 10 for the Saggy Greens, and it's 20 to get for the 2019 champions to qualify for a 4th successive quarter-final appearance. So it's going to be Michael Johnson who will get this run chase underway for Wet Up. Hit the first ball for 6 and was dismissed with the second in their opening match defeat to the 6 offenders. He'll be hoping for a more consistent knock here to get Wet Up off to the start they need. So 20 to get for Wet Up, and it's going to be de Burgh around the wicket for the first over. Here he's in now, and that one's a good length delivery, and Johnson has driven this down the ground for a boundary first ball. Underway with a boundary once again, as he did against the 6 offenders. That's a perfect start to this run chase. Well, Johnson will be hoping that lightning does not strike twice, as de Burgh is in once again to him now, and this one's a wide delivery, and he's got underneath it, and you better believe it has struck again. He's been dismissed with the second ball of the innings, as he was against the 6 offenders. Johnson has to go for 4, and Wet Up a 1 for 4 in the opening over. Well, that's quite amazing. A boundary to begin his innings, and dismissed off the second ball again, means that Matt White comes to the crease at number 2. This is a big period of the match here. A wicket now for the Saggy Greens, and they'll be favourites. So it's de Burgh to continue to White around the wicket. Here he's in now, and this one's hit down the ground, but it's well fielded off his own bowling by de Burgh, who moves swiftly to his right. So what a tournament we've had here to date, and there's still plenty of drama to come, as de Burgh will continue again now to White, and this one's a full delivery on, he's hit it into the bin, which saves a certain boundary, and he'll have to make do with a single to get his account underway. Been a decent start with the ball here from de Burgh. Wet Up 1 for 5. It's going to be the skipper, Tom Doy, to bowl the second over of the innings, as he's in now to his opposite number, and it's a short delivery outside the off stump, but it's brilliantly fielded there by Troy Hayden, who stops a boundary. So an important dot there for the Saggy Greens. This is a big knock here for the Wet Up skipper. As Doyle will continue again now to White, who gets this away brilliantly on the offside for his first boundary. That is a big boundary here in the context of this match. He backs away and gets it away nicely. Doyle to continue to White in the second over of the innings. Here he's in now. This one's another short wide delivery, and this one gets through this time all the way for a maximum. They're nearly there, Wet Up. The skipper standing up when needed the most. They're just one clean hit away now. So the Saggy Greens in desperate need of a wicket as Doyle's in for the final ball of the over, and this one hits White on the body, and he's going to move through for a leg bye to end with. 1 for 17 after 2. So it's going to be Troy Hayden who will bowl the third over of the innings as he's in around the wicket here to White, and he begins with a full delivery. White clips this off his toes for a boundary to end with. Wet Up get the chocolates in match 10. They qualify for the quarterfinals. The Saggy Greens unfortunately crash out of the competition. Simply not enough runs for the Bottle Green. So the 2019 champions flexing their muscle when they needed to the most. They prevail here in match 10 by 2 wickets to qualify for the quarterfinals. They leapfrog the Saggy Greens thanks to their head-to-head record and more wickets taken. Matt White, the skipper, standing up, finishing 15 not out. And although they were entertaining again, the Saggy Greens, they crash out at the group stage for the second successive tournament. So as we take a look at how Group B finishes, the 6 defenders qualify in top spot thanks to their bonus point win against Wet Up, which actually worked out for Wet Up as they were able to isolate their match against the Saggy Greens. It is Wet Up who finished second, and it's the Saggy Greens rooted to the bottom who crash out. So as we look ahead to the next match of the tournament, it's the final piece of the Group C puzzle in match 11. It's taking over, taking on Nice Gary, with all 3 sides still a chance of progressing and missing out.